McConnell could have the last laugh after Democratic leaders praised the 3-month debt ceiling extension deal they struck with President Trump. McConnell writing in some provisions that would allow Republicans to work around the December deadline and push the issue until next year. Then McConnell saying in an interview for the New York Times podcast yesterday, quote, "Let's put it this way. The deal is not quite as good as my counterpart thought it was." Let's bring in our political panel. We have Joh Holmes. He is former chief of staff to Senator Mitch McConnell. And we have Jim Kessler. He is senior vice president for policy and a co-founder of the Third Way and a former legislative and policy director for Chuck Schumer. Thanks to both of you for joining us. Josh, I'll let you go first. What do you make of this?
Yeah, I mean, this is why Americans should be happy there's at least one person out there more interested with the details in lawmaking than the press that it receives. I mean, you saw Chuck Schumer basically do a wind sprint to the cameras to crow about his big victory, and meanwhile, the Senate Majority Leader is busily writing a plan that deleverages what could have been a real catastrophic leverage point for Republicans in December. I mean, the reason that conservatives were upset with the deal that President Trump made is because it set up a timeline in December where Democrats could extract real significant liberal priorities from Republicans.
Well, that's one way to look at it, although it could be just trying to put a good face on something that happened. Let's listen to what Mitch McConnell said.
Let's put it this way. The deal's not quite as good as my counterpart thought it was. It does not prevent extraordinary measures. And I think I can safely say that the debt ceiling and the spending issue in December will be decoupled, because the debt ceiling will not come up until sometime in 2018.
Jim, your reaction?
Look, I think there's a little bit of spin going on from Leader McConnell. The Democrats that I've talked to today, after they heard McConnell's remarks, still feel very good about this deal. They feel that, look, there's going to now be 2 points where there needs to be 60 votes. There needs to be bipartisan effort to get something passed. I think if Mitch McConnell made an end run around anybody on this deal, was an end run around Donald Trump, who seemed to want to have a forcing point in December. So I think Democrats are still kind of happy, and I think Mr. McConnell is spinning this just a little bit.
Josh, is the bottom line here that the president maybe doesn't belong to a party? You know, that he's not a Republican, he's not going to deal with only Republicans, that he's just looking to get stuff done and sort of views everyone in Washington as part of the swamp. That's one way looking at it. What do you think about that?
Well, there's an awful lot of media that pays attention to that. I mean, you notice the New York Times has quickly pronounced the Republican nominee and Republican president now this non-party entity, and I don't think that's true. If you look at the agenda that he's put forward, I mean, we're talking about tax reform. I don't know of any Democrat that is significantly concerned with lowering taxes. Donald Trump is. I don't know of any Democrats that are interested in doing all the regulatory work that they've done. Donald Trump is. You know, there's a bunch of conservative things, including a lot of judges that are being confirmed right now that are certainly conservative and definitely Republican. And so I think his party status is pretty well solidified for the time being.
Jim, what do you think?